So welcome back to Fast and Car Curious. This time something a little bit different, the Porsche Macan Turbo. That's turbo petrol, not turbo diesel. It's a 3.6 V6 twin turbo. It is a monster, as we will see later on. So SUV, why? Well, the chance came to drive this car. I've driven the 911 GTS recently, not on camera I'm afraid, but that was fantastic. And a friend of mine bought himself the Macan Turbo and said, why don't you drive it for your channel? So who am I to refuse an offer like that? So we'll do the usuals today. We'll have a look at the inside of the car and the outside, and I'll take it for a drive for some driving impressions. But I think you're going to like this one. So let's take a look at the outside of the Macan. It looks great, doesn't it? Hunkered down, a sporting SUV, not your tall, high-riding Range Rover type. This is something altogether different. But the most obvious thing, of course, is this paint job, which is beautiful. Great specification, good choice. 21-inch alloys. Wouldn't fancy curbing those. And a sort of sloping rear to the car, which looks tremendous. It really is that mix of sports car plus SUV practicality, which I think will be the theme. And one thing I really like are these lights. Sort of recessed here. 3D almost. Absolutely amazing. Looks tremendous. All the practicality you'd want from an SUV. We'll see the inside in a minute. But the obvious stuff, things like the boot, remote boot, stacks of space. I guess several suitcases in there without too many problems. Electric tailgates, got to think about those, a bit weird I know. And just looks tremendous. No chrome on this, like a black edition Audi like my A7 I guess, but looks tremendous. Anyway, enough of all this outside stuff. Let's take a look at the inside of the car, shall we? So stepping into any Porsche is an occasion, and this one is no different. The Macan is beautifully made here. All the most important things are in front of me here, of course, with the rev counter taking pride of place. Speedo left, TFT display to the right. This particular setting shows me turbo boost and oil pressure and so on. The tracks I'm playing on the stereo system. Sat nav, navigation, trip information. Brilliant, really easy to use. Lots of buttons here to play with, and actually, although I've only driven the car for a couple of hours, I'm used to this myriad of buttons, which some people get put off by. I like it a lot. And Apple AirPlay plugs straight into my phone, so most of my apps are now accessible on the screen here, so I can do satellite navigation, and I can even have an audiobook play to me, a bit of maps and whatever else, all the things you find on your iPhone, which makes it very, very user friendly. I can send messages through voice and so on, which is great. Climate control, of course, coming over the side, memory seats, electric windows all round, boot release, boot's fully electric as we saw earlier on, very nice. But fundamentally, just very, very well made. The seats are fantastic in this car. Those sort of hip supports there are really, really good. And the Porsche embossed headrests, very nice. The Porsche embossing was an extra, of course. And in the back, 3 very comfortable and spacious seats. So practical, very, very practical, very well made. Well done, Porsche. Thumbs up from me. It's a fantastic interior. But anyway, enough of all that stuff. Let's fire the thing up and get ourselves out on the road. Little barks from the exhaust when you change up under load. It's brilliant. Bit of tyre roar, but from those enormous wheels, there's no surprise about that. And the paddle changes, the gearbox, this PDK gearbox, is incredible. It's like a flick switch. You play racing games on Xboxes and things, and you press a button to change gears, just flip your neck. Big tractor. Brakes are fantastic. brakes in this car are amazing. So yeah, anyway, what was I saying? Gear changes, instantaneous. Just press a button, up and down. Even quicker, I think, than the ZF box in the Jaguar F-Type I was driving the other week. This is dual clutch, of course, which the F-Type isn't. So 2 clutches. Next gear is already ready before you press the button. Clever stuff. So road holding is amazing. Let me just tell you that right now. This is not a shrunk down Cayenne. I've driven a Cayenne and it wallows about quite a bit. This does not. This is a completely different platform. Yes, it's shared with the Q5 from Audi, who cares? This chassis is amazing. And the switchable suspension is inspired thinking. So that's a twisty load of road with a tractor pulling out in front of me, which you couldn't see, but I did, thank God. Bloody hell. Brakes are incredible. The brakes are amazing. Bit of throatiness, do you like that? And that road holding, it is like a sports car. I think Porsche are right. They've created a mid-size SUV with the road holding of a sports car. So yeah, it's not a shrunk down Cayenne. It's a bigger, taller 911. Cayman maybe. Yeah, think of it like that. This is not a shrunk down Cayenne. It's just a taller, bigger 911 or Cayman maybe. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Well done, Porsche. Tip-top job. Yeah. So to conclude this performance testing part of the, of the video, handles really well, and yeah, I can press some buttons, take it out of sport mode, back to comfort suspension, some exhaust noise dies off, slightly more wallowy, is that even a word? But more comfortable. You could transport your family of 5 of you with lots of luggage around and absolute comfort. No problem. Easy peasy. Wow. Yeah, so in the intro I said sports car and SUV rolled into one. Tick in the box. Really is. Anyway, sport mode, hard suspension. Let's have some more fun. Wow, the pace builds so quickly. That is, yeah, that's really fast. That's really fast. My God. Yeah. Well done, Porsche. Right, let's move on to the next section, shall we? So the options on this car. Everything on a Porsche you have to pay extra for. Used to be the case, not so much now. So this is a top of the range Macan. So lots of things are included as standard. The memory seats, obviously the sat nav, all those sorts of things are now standard. In the past, all would have been extra. Not anymore. Having said that, the options list for this car is just over a mile long. There are so many things you can add to this car. So this car has the panoramic roof that I showed on the interior view, and it is brilliant. I have to say, it's very, very good. Quite long. It stretches quite a long way back into the passenger area, and the sliding sunblind as well. Blah blah blah. But it's £1,100. The wheels that I showed you on the exterior view are 2,200. They are big. They are very, very nice. Much better than the standard ones that come on this. But yeah, 2K. Lane assist, which you know, makes a noise when you wander over the dotted line. £400. The embossing on the headrests here with the Porsche logo, £160. And on it goes. If you want ceramic brakes, 5,600 quid. You could go mad in this car, adding all kinds of bits and bobs, and your 68k would easily become 80, 90 plus probably. But that does mean you can personalise, and you can select some really well chosen options to make your Macan yours, if you like. So yeah, you can go mad. but in basic trim it's still very well equipped. So yeah, people that say everything's an extra in a Porsche, not anymore, but you can spend if you want to. So options, choose carefully, take the guidance of the dealership. Some options add no value really when it comes to resale. Another question to ask them. But anyway, options, there are lots. Jesus Christ. Sorry about the blaspheming. That's the first time I've absolutely floored this in sport mode, and by God. Yeah. So, this channel is about how cars make you feel. And I suppose because this car isn't a sports car, you don't really expect it to do what it just did, which is just hunker down on that firmed up suspension with the Sport Plus suspension setting and just spool up those turbos, and whew, that was fast. That was really fast. Whew. Yeah, you can see why the suspension is adjustable. If you do that in comfort mode, I'd imagine the back end would sink down quite badly and absorb some of that forward thrust, which is what you probably wouldn't want to happen. That was good, that was quick. Oh, let's do that again. Here's some more of that around town burbling noise I was talking about. This sounds good, doesn't it? So you put it in sport mode, you get more exhaust noise. But this is there's a little lane here with walls each side. Listen to this. This is an SUV. And again, close to the wall. Sounds nice, doesn't it? Ooh. Pops and crackles on that overrun. Nice. That sounded good. Sounds nice, that's good. So to conclude the noise bit, that's interesting, isn't it? Everybody in the motoring press complains that a full load, this thing doesn't sound as noisy as it should do, which I kind of agree with. It'd be great to have the performance exhaust, but around town at slow speeds, burbling through a village or a town, village like this one, the village where I was born, by the way, it sounds really good. It pops and crackles and yeah, it's nice, sounds good. So it's conclusion time. This one's easier to conclude than most because I've had this car for 2 days, and particularly today I've driven it for 7.5 hours. So that really helps you understand a car, or makes it tick, and that comes back to my point I've made before, doesn't it, which is, you know, driving a car for 20 minutes with a sales guy just isn't enough. You need much longer to really understand if this car's going to fit your needs. And I can say after this much driving that this is a belter. It's everything Porsche says it will be, which is really practical SUV, 5 generous seats, great big boot, comfortable to drive. But then press a couple of buttons and it does turn into a sports car. It really does. Set suspension in Sport Plus, whack the Sport button to make it, you know, tighter, tauter, faster throttle response, hangs onto the gears longer, and you have got a sports car. There's no doubt about it. I've had people take me on in this today. One guy in a Cayman S, chap in a Golf R32. God love them, they had no chance. It really is that quick. Really is that quick. So if you need a comfortable cruiser that can become a nut job, this could be it. It really could be. It's that good. The quality is outstanding. The infotainment system is brilliant. Every button feels of high quality. There's no cheap plastic in here. It's top quality, which is what you expect when you pay 64 grand base price before you start adding the options I talked about earlier. But if you've got that money to spend on a car, it's worth every single penny. So I was scratching my head earlier on thinking I need to find some things to moan about, because it's not like me to just not find something to complain about. And really all there is the noise talked about yesterday. I think the sports exhaust system would be £1,700 well spent. It'll give me a bit more noise, but if that doesn't bother you, then don't bother. That's why it's an option, right? So if that noise isn't as important to you as it is to me, don't bother with it. And then the sport button. I'm used to driving cars where you do something with the gear lever to drop it into sport mode. Now you can flick this to the left to go manual, or paddle change manual, but to keep it in sport mode, you have to look down all these buttons to find the sport button, which means taking your eyes off the road, unless you get used to it through habit, I guess, I suppose. Once you get really used to it, just feel your way and press it. It just seems a bit, I don't know, a bit odd. I mean, but that is it, right? That's all I can find to moan about. The rest of it is A1 perfect. Seriously, brilliant. You'd have to drive this up against the SQ5 from Audi and the F-Pace from Jaguar, the F-Pace S. Not as powerful as this. I believe there is a SVR version on its way. That'll be interesting. But for now, this is it. If you need an SUV that's got sporting possibilities, this is probably it. Give it a go. Absolutely. It drinks petrol like you wouldn't believe, by the way. 21 to the gallon today. That's after motorways as well. 17 yesterday when I'm giving it some. So just bear that in mind. If you can afford that, absolutely stick it on your list. It's brilliant. Give it a go would be my advice. So I can't say anything more, can I? That's probably the most glowing conclusion I've given any car, I think. So give it a go. Put it on your list. Absolutely. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you can subscribe, click the button below. That'd be great. Some comments would be nice. Give me some feedback, good and bad. I don't mind either. And also, yeah, subscribe helps me a lot in terms of securing some more cars to drive. So please do if you can. I'd appreciate it. So I'll see you again soon with my next adventure, which is coming up quite soon. So I'll see you here back on Fast and Car Curious. Thanks for watching.